into the next sphere. So it is with all the spheres, one inside the other, and all of them are mustard seed within the further expanses, and all of these are mustard seeds within the expanses. Your awe is invigorated, the love in your soul expands.
La Cordovera, I mentioned it at services this past Shabbat. Maybe like I learned from Moshe Yidel that he was the most influential of all the Kabbalists. So like, if you quote Cordovera, you're in a good place. Quoting the book of Daniel. I give you an extra text just for extra credit. We won't read it. The extra credit text is this. Some of this he's finding in the Talmud. So I just have that extra thing. If I ever wrote a book, Rob, if I ever, like my book would be Kabbalah based on traditional Jewish sources. Like it's not like this completely other thing. So I just like to show you where you find things in the Mishnah and the Talmud. But he finds a piece of this in the Talmud in Masechet Chagiga. So God's not a thing. God's not up in the sky. Rather, what this means is, and that thinking that way is a trap that destroys your faith. What you need is Yirat Hashem. So you may have noticed, even in the burning bush text, it starts with Vayera, which means, and he appeared. The word to see, appeared, is related, or it looks a lot like, it's connected in this kind of phonetic way with the word for awe, Yirah. And Yirah is an incredibly important word in the Torah and to the rabbis. Yirah is what you experience when you have the closest thing to a direct relationship with God. And Heschel was famous for the fact that in earlier translations, it would be translated fear. It was called, do you have fear of God? Do you have Yirat HaShamayim? You have a fear of heaven. Sounds like you're about to be struck down any second. One of the things Heschel pointed out is it's a terrible translation, but it suits a certain kind of, dare I say, anti-Semitic way of understanding the Old Testament, that the Old Testament is about fear and a punishing God, and it's replaced by a loving God in the New Testament. Thank God God decided to expand God's repertoire. But so Heschel's like, Yirah, he's correct. Translated as awe. Awe is the closest thing you get to like, I'm trembling, fear and trembling. I'm trembling a bit. Like I'm in touch with something that's greater than me. I can't corporealize it. I can't capture it. I can't put it into a picture. I can't just create a metaphor, but I'm shaken up. That's what happens to the elders of Israel. That's what happens to Moses. That's when they're having direct contact with God. That's what the Kaddish is about. The Kaddish, the key part of the Kaddish is, well, it's all key. Bi'alma divrak yirtevim. Le'ela, going beyond, min kol, every single birchata, blessing, shirata, song or poem or creative writing, tushbachata, any word that ever came out of praise or gratitude, and nechamata, any words that have ever been uttered of consoling someone. That's where God is. It's beyond all the words. So the Kaddish is about reminding you, and then if you go back, you'll find, what are those things? Barach, moments of blessing, moments where you got gratitude for more than you could have expected. I didn't know it could be this good. I didn't know I could, So Yiprach Vishtabach, moments that made me praise. Yipa'ar, moments of wonder. Yitromam, moments of transcendence. The Yitnaseh, moments of being lifted high. The Hadar, moments of Hadar, moments where like there's that combination of like something honorable. That the only way to describe it is that it's beautiful. Hadar. V'yitaleh, that which lifts me up or goes beyond. V'yitalal, that which makes me do Hallel, that makes me stand my feet, be like, it's great. Shmei Kudashah, blessed be God's name. And then beyond all, so like, this is really traditional kind of thing, which is we can't corporealize God. But what do we feel? We feel Yirah. We feel like this awe. When I tell you, like, you are related to infinity, you are part of a timeline of the Jewish people that goes back thousands of years and will extend forward. You should be a little shaken up. So Heschel says that the yirah is not a very pleasant feeling. It's not fear exactly, but it's a little bit of terror. It's a little, when you go to Yom Kippur and you put on white and you say, I'm putting on what I'll be buried in. I'm putting on the shrouds of burial so that I can think, and Neil's going to sing Unatana Tokef. Some people are going to die this year, and some people are not going to die this year, and you think you know which ones are which. That's all Unatana Tokef is. And then it says, listen, you got to live in such a way that the severity of the decree of mortality is lessened. So it's a way of saying, I could die. How do I want to live? So the severity of the fact that we're all going to die, newsflash, you share it with every single thing that has ever been alive. Ever. That's olam. You are connecting to infinity. You are connecting to the whole damn timeline, right? That should shake you up a bit. But it shouldn't shake you up a bit to start crying. Well, I mean, crying good tears, that's okay. I mean, you shouldn't be like, I hate this religion. I'm running out of synagogue onto the church. No, it's like you should be, it's the exercise as what's his name, Rabbi Lou, I used to teach for. I used to say, the title of his book, right? High Holy Days. What is it? Like, this is real and you were totally unprepared for it. Yep. Right? Everyone's unprepared for Unatana Tokef. I am too. So what I mean is, it should be yirah and other moments. I mean, like, I don't know, moments of all the things that Kaddish say, moments of love.
Where's the spelling for yirah?
So yirah is yud. Nope, not that one. It's yud resh hey. Yud resh hey.
Isn't that related to the word for to shoot?
No, that's.
Bow and arrow
I don't believe so.
or a gun?
I don't believe so.
The Yerot.
Yirah.
The Yerot is with a hey.
So I will tell you that I find the words that all have yud and resh and then have hays and aleph, they're very hard for me to keep track of all of the roots because, and this is not accidental, for the Kabbalists, yuds and hays are considered weak in roots. They're not considered strong. In other words, like my father was a biblical grammarian. If you said that verb is a, what do you call it? A third letter hey verb. He would say, no, it's not. It's a third letter weak verb. Because the hey can become a yud. Or in the beginning of the word, it can be a hey, it can be yud. What you're really saying is, it's a flexible, weak part. They're saying things like, the vav actually isn't, but they're, actually the hope is. The hey is weak. They like to see words that, the word Torah. What's the first letter of the word? The root of Torah is not tav. That makes it a noun. It's a yud. Second, the word to teach. The root of it is, the first letter is just a weak. That's why you got to have the tav there to make the noun.
It's not hey?
Nope.
How?
Because you're thinking, that's what my dad's saying. Hey, yud, it doesn't matter. It's not there. It's mushy. But it's, let's just say, for this, like when you're doing moreh to teach, morah is a teacher, moreh is a teacher. Typically the root is said, it's yud resh hey. And also looks like yirah. But it could be a different root. That's why I'm saying you have various roots that when they have weaknesses, they start to all look the same, especially when you start to conjugate them. So I don't want to, I would have to double check because I don't want to say something wrong. But think about that. The word Torah comes from yud resh hey, which means to teach. And it looks like yirah, it looks like awe, and it's also weak, resh, weak, which means it's a flowing energy. It's a flowing energy through it. And you guys probably know this, but because I've said it so many times, when we open the ark, we sing a Kabbalistic piece in Aramaic. There are only, I always go and get this wrong, three Aramaic pieces in the Saturday morning service. Most of the Kaddish is in Aramaic. Okay, Kaddish, you got that. Next Aramaic piece, Yikum Porkan. Yikum Porkan means Shemaya, Aramaic. And the other is Be Be'anarachetz V'lishmei Kadisha. So that's Aramaic. Why do we sing it? Because it's celebrating God. In Aramaic, the Yud Resh, the root, I keep having these battles. The root for Torah is the tav becomes a dalet in Aramaic. Okay, so let's just take the dalet aside. You get doraita. So doraita means from the Torah, or Torah derived. So Torah becomes deora. What is, if you read that as Hebrew, take the dalet away, what's the word or ora mean in Hebrew? Light. So do you remember the first day we did it? There is nothing but infinite light. Everything is made from infinite light. That light makes Keter, it makes no thingness. We are all living in the light. Our job is to mechaye metim. It's to like activate the sparks that are being held down by matter and being weighed down. It's to bring balance of the flow of the light. So the Kabbalists love the fact that the root of Torah in Hebrew, number one, it looks like the word yira, our relationship to God. But not only that, but in Aramaic, you actually add an aleph to it, so it actually spells out the Hebrew word light, energy. That's the way we say it. You're supposed to be opening up. This is like why I want to do like, it could be a mini course of just 2 or 3 sessions. You open up the ark, it's shining divine energy. Because it's a pun on energy in Torah and Yirah. You're supposed to really say, like, I want to connect to this. I want this to activate me. I want this energy to start flowing through me. We already did it. I already got drunk and had sex on Friday night. Because the Zohar says that, you're supposed to be doing if you're married. Okay, leave it at that. So don't tell anyone I said otherwise. So I already had a great Friday night. It was all love, no judgment, no judgment. It was friendship. Everyone's great. It's me being gracious to everybody, people being gracious to me. And now I want that ark to open now that Saturday morning. And I want that energy to like activate me. Like I'm not closed up with the heaviness I've imprisoned myself with. I wanted to, what else is in the second blessing of Mechayim Hametim? Free the bound. Now, we can say freeing the bound means go out and find some bound up hostages and free them, and that would be great, but you're the bound too. You're Asurim. So like, what does it mean that we came out of, that's what we have to do. Someone tell me the time.
7:46.
Okay. I've got a great thing to do. Any other questions or comments? And I know exactly what I want to do right now. And it's on here. Okay, go to the discussion questions. Let's go to question number 2. I know I should have had us all work in pairs, but just so we end on time. Let's do this together. So one exercise is Kabbalah is trying to tell you, you will find this written in the Lev Shalem, by the way, on the sides of the pages. Creation, redemption, and revelation, which is the journey of the Jewish calendar. It is the journey of the 5 books of Moses, and it is the structure of every service, although sometimes revelation is left out. On Friday night, we leave out revelation because it brings Gevurah. And you guys know that. You guys are like...
Because it brings Gevurah?
It brings Gevurah. So we did that last time. Our last session was just on Shabbat. On Friday night, you don't have a Torah service, and you're allowed to bring Torah. I was talking to someone this week, my love, and this person said something I love, which is they say, I want to be really, really open-hearted to Reform Judaism. They're our fellow Jews. They do beautiful things. They have great, but I can't deal with it if they take out the Torah on Friday night. Because I told you before, not allowed. We don't even take out the Torah on Kol Nidre, right? So you know that on Yom Kippur, you know what time that service will start. check your calendar, find out what candle lighting time is, and go back to the nearest half hour, and you know what time we're starting. If it says candle lighting time 5:46, you know we're starting at 5:30. If it says candle lighting time 7:02, you know we're starting at 6:30, or because you can only open that ark and take out those scrolls before sunset. So anyway, structure of the service: creation, redemption, revelation. These are not past events. That is to look at the frame of the film, rather than seeing that everything really is, and you're enlightened by seeing things in terms of dynamic process and development. Either the patterns of them, which is like what you and I call scientific laws, that's discerning the patterns of cause and effect, the patterns of things evolving as processes. It's also spiritual, seeing yourself and everyone else and things as processes. America's a process, right? It's not a thing. So, think for a moment, how is creation not a past event? How is it in the present moment? Each of these three items, and this is not just Kabbalistic, it's also rabbinic. So if I was doing my book, that's like, all of this is really mainstream stuff. I can show you in the mainstream rabbis. Creation, redemption, revelation, the three parts of the service, the three parts of our archetypal pattern of our process. Our process is creation, redemption, revelation, wandering, repeat. Creation, redemption, revelation, wandering, repeat. How is creation something that's happening in every moment? It's not a past event. Yes, there was a Big Bang. That did happen. Still, it's still happening.
It's constantly occurring.
Okay, answers. It's constantly occurring. Tell us more.
Like you said, the Big Bang is still happening. This is constantly going on around us as we breathe, as we sit here. We're getting older every moment.
Right.
The world is expanding as we've been talking with time. It constantly goes past us. The world is still expanding. Every moment that we go by, our bodies are getting older.
Absolutely.
We're aging as we're sitting here.
We're aging as we're sitting here.
And
Exactly.
as sad as that is, but at the same time.
Hey, speak for yourself. Okay.
Creation or
As we sit here,
decreation?
I mean, but new life is coming into the world, and just as often as we're sitting here, there's new life coming into the world as
Yep.
well. This occurring and creating, it's happening at the same pace as people are passing away and we're aging, and time is constantly getting further and further into this kind of infinite world. It's still all happening around us, whether we realize it or feel it or anything. The earth is moving around us. The earth is moving around us. It's
Absolutely.
all still happening.
Absolutely. Creation is both a past event and it's happening at every moment. I'll try to blow you away with an example I use with teens in school. Explain to me this, Sam Mickey. Yeah, any other parents? Your kids are not quite yet in my class. Explain to me this, seventh grader. In Judaism and the Torah, you can own the tree, right? And you can own the fruit that's growing on the tree. But you don't own the process of creating the fruit. That's why you have to bring it to the temple. That's why you have to donate a tithe. It's not simply that you get taxed. You don't like it, move somewhere else. It's religious. You can own the tree. So, example, which is, well, people can walk by. And if they're at the corners or in the edges of your field, they can just take and go. They can't stuff their pockets, but they can go. In one place in Torah, they can actually come on your property as long as they're only eating in that moment and they don't take with, right? So, but it's my tree. Is this just because I have to be nice to the poor? Again, my wife and I will slam anyone over the head who says that the mitzvot are about being a mensch and doing like kind acts. This is not a kind act. I will let poor people have some of my stuff. It's a mitzvah. It is a required recognition of the way the world works and what you owe it, like what your role in it is. So the idea is, one way to talk about creation is this. I like to instead of using the word creation, I like to use the word nature. You can own the tree, you can own the fruit, but you don't own nature. You don't own nature in the tree, which is the dynamic process of growing stuff. Another reason why in some cases, if you let the fruit fall on the ground, it's now ownerless, right? It's my ground. It's my tree. Why is the fruit? Well, you didn't pick it when it was there. It falls to the ground. Belongs to someone else. You don't. You actually didn't grow the fruit. You set it up. You set up a tree. You set up the water. You planted the thing. Mazel tov. You're so great. Oh my gosh. God grew the damn tree. Okay, it wasn't a damn tree. God grew nature. You don't. So this is where they're like, people think nature is, look at the beautiful ocean. Look at the beautiful forest. I got a picture of the Grand Canyon. You're going to feel Yirah. By the way, Heschel says beautifully, the experience of the Grand Canyon is not Yirah. It's an experience of grandeur. I love that part of experience of grandeur is not the same thing as an experience that connects you to Adon Olam, to eternity, to the deep process of time. You can look at a tree grow. So the process of growth. You didn't invent nature. Nature came from God. Why can you eat an animal, but you have to bring it to the altar in Leviticus 17? And you have to say, I didn't create life. Because you didn't create life, right? The life of the animal, the nefesh, you did not create. You can own the flesh, but you didn't create the spirit. You didn't create the, so that's what you say. You say, the blood contains the spirit. Symbolically, I'll release the blood onto the altar. It goes back to God in smoke. Yes, it's symbolic, unless you want to have a different interpretation of it. But it's an understanding of like that, the light, the soul of the animal. You know what the difference between an animal with a nefesh and an animal that isn't? One moves around. The other, if you kick it and it doesn't wake up, it ain't got no nefesh anymore. Nefesh isn't a thing. It's a process. It's the life. It's going through the body. And then, we bury without embalming and you go back into it. So, and I know I'm probably running out of time, but let's do the next one. Redemption. Is redemption coming out of Egypt and crossing the Red Sea? That was one of them. Redemption is happening in every moment. So how is redemption a contemporary process? And redemption means that let's define it, because I forgot about that. It's confused these days. Redemption is being saved from being enslaved to another, working for the man. All of us are always serving something. Redemption is getting a change of ownership. You are shifted from working for them as your master to working for God as your master. We are always serving. The question is, whom are you serving? So it is serving something other than God is what you need. So in any moment, redemption, freeing. Okay, let's try an example. Well, one is you can go back to Nadav's 12-step sermon from last year, from a year and a half ago, right? Anyone who struggles with an addiction knows the whole thing is Rosh Hashanah. The whole thing is that I serve a substance that I don't want to be serving. But if you think I have free will over it, you don't understand what it means to serve something other than God. And 12-step is built around how do you understand? You don't go from service to freedom. Yay, now I'm free, I can do whatever I want. Because you know what I want to do? I want to drink, actually, frankly. And that's really what I want to do. It's like, you always serve something. So you have to figure out, how do you serve correctly? It's always happening. There's lots and lots of great books. There's a great book on Exodus as we go through it. For the Chassids who inherit Kabbalah, all of Exodus is psychological. It's Neo from the Matrix. It's free yourself. Free your mind. Going from dormant to active. Why aren't you dormant? What is holding you back? Is it habit? Is it diet? Is it psychological stuff you got to work through? What imprisons you? What bounds you? So redemption is actually being freed from being bound. So we're all bound. The idea that any of us are free. So redemption is in every moment is we need to be redeemed. We are constantly serving that which we're not really serving, or else we would really, the world would be super better if we were actually really serving God. And serving God doesn't just mean, fine, I put money in the tzedakah box. It means this kind of wakefulness where Ryan studied a lot of this stuff because it comes through with the Kabbalistic influence in Musar. When you combine the two, you really become like a vessel, a holy vessel, where you're operating with equanimity, you're operating with humility, you're open to the moment, to negotiate the things in front of you and do your best with it. That's serving. So redemption is like, salvation is real, it's in every moment, you're always going to slip back. So how do we free, and also freeing others? I mean, I did this with the kids in seventh grade, in sixth grade on Sunday. Are you really free if you're sick? No, I mean, like, sickness limits your ability to be free. So the Amidah is part of the redemption part of the service, right? Rofei cholim, umatir asurim, it's like all, free the bound, heal those, lift up those who sleep in the dust. All of social justice is about redemption is now. Redemption isn't over. Like, we need to free the people who aren't free. There are parts of us that aren't free. It's psychological, it's physical, it's emotional, it's the prayer for the sick, it's all of it. And then finally, revelation. How is revelation not something that happened in Mount Sinai, but something that's available in every moment? How is that? Well, I know it's probably after 8.
Not yet. 2 minutes.
No, okay. 2 tablets, 2 minutes, it's meant to be. So how is enlightenment, or maybe I spoiled it, how is revelation possible in every moment? Or an ongoing process? The giving of Torah continues. Just like, was it Caroline where you're saying, Abby was saying, just like the Big Bang is still continuing, the Torah revelation isn't done. It's one of the reasons I can't stand misrepresentation of the Torah by orthodoxy. The Torah was given on Mount Sinai. It was all spoken out of a cloud, and Moses wrote it down. That is corporealizing revelation and making it a thing, and you've removed all of the mystery from it. You have taken something mysterious and made it into something ordinary. That's what fundamentalists do. They ruin religion because they say, I believe in the real thing, the literal thing. And I'm like, well, you just made it ordinary then. You made it whole. It's no longer Kodesh. Heschel's very good on this, which is, if there's no mystery to some of this stuff, and I don't mean mystery like any part you don't understand, that's the mystery. No, it's not a way of like convincing you and selling you something. It's the fact that like part of this stuff is truly ineffable. Like you go beyond, like when you really connect to the fact that you're part of a massive timeline, if you can really connect to the fact that there didn't have to be life in this universe, and as much as we're all, I don't know about you, I don't know about that rabbi, I'm absolutely convinced that there are all kinds of life all over the universe. And indeed there may be. But what if we are literally the only sentient life in the entire universe? And that is possible. My middle schoolers are convinced it's mathematically impossible. That's because they can't accept the awe. What if that's it? It's just us. We were given this chance. So we are resistant to connecting to all of that. So Revelation, yeah, go ahead.
I said, let's hope not.
Let's hope, right, no, I agree. I'm with Carl Sagan, and I agree. Like, if that's all just empty space, that would be really, really sad. Definitely the best movie ever done on religion was Contact. And it basically is about the debate between, you got Matthew McConaughey, who plays the liberal theologian, very much quoting Heschel and quoting other people Heschel was reading and talking to at the time. People lived around Columbia in the mid to late 20th century. And then you've got the fundamentalist guy, the evangelical, who's the literalist. But no one wants to listen to Matthew McConaughey because no one wants to listen to a conservative rabbi, right? They want to listen to the Chabad rabbi or the Orthodox rabbi because they've got the real thing and they got the MS. And I'm like, no, they're just corporealizing God a lot of the time. I don't want to say the Chabad rabbi here does that. I don't know. I mean, a lot of Orthodox rabbis are very, very smart. But in general, but I will say this, in general, but I don't take away what I said. General Orthodoxy has been moving to the right in this country for the last 60 years, largely under the influence of wanting to be more like evangelical Christianity, to stand in the truth of we really believe in it. If he doesn't believe that a voice came out of the cloud and was written down on Mount Sinai, he doesn't really believe in God. And I would show them the word Cordovera, which is you have imagined something, it's a really clear, concrete thing, it's not God, and then you're telling people if you don't believe in that, they don't have faith? Like, give me a break. Revelation is ongoing. The Torah is still being given. It is being given with the revelation. If you discover something new about the way the processes work in the world, Torah's flowing through you. You know, like, so enlightenment is always possible. Forms of education and understanding the Torah structure of the universe that is in the present moment. And also just straight up enlightenment, learning largely through connection to Judaism, but also connection to all the other sciences and fields. Like, that's what we're trying to connect to. So we understand and see the world differently through process rather than thing. And so I want to thank you for that. Where we're going is, like I said, I have it up there, but at some point we've got to do some of the, you'll see on the website what some of the upcoming classes are. And anyone who wants to stay after can talk to me, but thanks so much for your attention for such a long time and your patience in having me explain things imperfectly. Okay. Drive carefully.